Hello, everybody. This is Jane Klein from Counseling Wise, and I'm here to talk you through what you get if you order a Google AdWords Fine Tune with us. First of all, everything that I do, I explain to you in about a 5-minute video that's personalized just to you so that you can easily follow what I've done. It's kind of a fun way to communicate, and it's much like what you're looking at now, except it's only your campaign and lasts about between 5 and 10 minutes, and I clarify everything. So your name, I go through first of all the settings and all best practices. There are lots of different settings. There are about 10 to 12 altogether, so it's a little bit much to go into on this forum, but trust that it's all done correctly. So geo-targeting, you fill out a form, and I ask you exactly where you want to target. Certain areas of specific zip codes in New York, for example, or maybe you live in a small town and you want to do a 23-mile radius around Tuscumbia, Alabama. I have no idea, okay? But you know who your clients are and who they need to be, and we make sure we get to the bottom of that. I can also exclude zip codes that you don't want to have targeted. Okay, so your budget. You tell me on the form if you want to keep it or increase it, because obviously if you're getting a fine tune, you already have an AdWords campaign, and it may be working for you. But I take a look at it and tweak it based on some metrics. Generally, if you've had it for a couple of years, it probably needs to be increased slightly to get ahead of the competition. And the delivery method. I don't let your ads generally show between midnight and 6 a.m. on weekdays, and sometimes even on weekends, depending where you live, because you don't want somebody who is under the influence or just come off a huge fight, and they're desperate sort of at 3 a.m. in the morning, to click on your ads and use up your budget, because generally you want people who are really sort of sober and reflective and ready. They're vetted clients. They're actually ready to come to counseling. They're not just cruising the web on a whim at 4 a.m. and wasting your money. So that's that. And then the default max bid, I adjust all your default max bid as necessary. It's very important to do this because you have to do it. It's very, very targeted. So this is like, per ad group. And I really go down and I take a lot of pride in doing this right. They need to keep up with inflation, and you have to go up, you're going up against your competition. So in a place like New York, it'll be much different than Erie, Colorado, for example. But I do use a bid simulator to make sure that you get the biggest bang for your buck. And that employ best practices. So, and this is what a default bid might look like, depending on your specific campaign. It might be, it depends on there are all kinds of different factors that go into exactly why it might be $4.83 versus $4.11, and I'm familiar with all of those, so take good care of you on that score. Our goal is obviously to get you on page 1 of Google. That's the holy grail, right? And this search that I did was for couples counseling, for a very successful therapist in Phoenix named Jason Fierstein, who graciously agreed to be my guinea pig for this video. Whatever you do, people, please do not Google Phoenix couples counselor and click on his ad, because it'll cost him money, and he's a really, really good guy, and he's a very successful therapist, and you can learn a lot from him about, just by emulating the strategies on his site. So Google Phoenix Men's Therapist and click on his organic link, but don't click on this where it says the little gold thing that says ad there. Okay, it's bad karma if you do. You're going to be going against your fellow therapist. It's not good for your juju. Okay, so then I have a list of over 100 500 negatives for terms such as like massage therapist and physical therapist, or therapist salaries. You do not want to pay for your ads to show there, and so those are very, very important. And it's many a therapist, and actually business people all over the world, they make a mistake of putting up an ad campaign and without putting in negatives, and it just destroys you. You pay for all kinds of bogus clicks, lots of sex terms that and lots of just odd things you wouldn't think of. that you really don't want to pay for those clicks. So you want really vetted clicks. Okay, then anything above a 1% click-through rate is considered strong. And, I work to make sure your campaign, and each ad group gets above a 1% to get, and then I give you the graphics to prove it, right? This is how I present your report. And there is, if you can find another AdWords company or professional who does that, please let me know about it, because normally what happens is kind of like, the Wizard of Oz, right? All this magic happens and you're supposed to stand in awe, but nobody really explains how they do it. And I take the time to explain and educate you about what I've done and what your online presence, is going to look like. I show you all the ads that I've created, and I let you go through and make sure that, they are consistent with the messaging that you feel comfortable with, and it's, usually the client is simply left guessing, and that's not how it is with me. So it's a very unusual presentation and way of presenting an AdWords campaign to the client, but I think it's a very, very solid way to communicate what's going on. I look at your ads, I see which are working, which aren't. Then I either keep them as is, I pause them, I enable them. I might create a few new ones as well, in which case, I let you know what they are. And then the, keywords per ad group, I make sure these are sculpted to get the maximum clicks. And if they're not, I'll add more that I think people will be, Googling you for. All right, then I do an extensions. I employ best practices with all relevant extensions. And, I also may check your ad funneling, your ad group negatives, any other thing that comes up, whatever it is. If it's holding you back in your AdWords campaign, I will fix it. So if you're interested in ordering, and you're on the Google AdWords campaign, then just go into here, the Google AdWords Fine-Tune page right here. Just go in here and click Start Now, and it'll take you to a form to fill out, and you'll be on your way. If you're not on that page yet because you got this link from somewhere else, just go over to What We Do, click Google AdWords for Therapist and AdWords Fine-Tuning. This page will come up, and again, you just scroll on down here, and there's Becky popping up. So it's popping up all over the place. And you just click right here on the Start Now button. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.